Hello, Warlords. Welcome to Saga Thursday, the show all about the skirmish miniatures game from Studio Tomahawk. I'm your host, Rodge, joined once again by Monty. How are you, Monty?
Rodge, I'm doing super. How about yourself?
Great. So this episode will be a little bit different, geared more towards people thinking about getting into the game of Saga. So we're going to jump right into that, and then afterwards we're going to have a little scenario talk and paint contests wrap up. Conclusion to that. So if you're an experienced player, you're welcome to follow along and shout at us from the screen as we're trying to give newbie advice. Otherwise, if you're not interested in that, you can jump ahead. But I've been playing Saga for close to 8 years now, I believe. Monty, have you recorded when you jumped in?
Right. It might be 9. So we're right around the same.
Mm-hmm. And I've been doing SAGA Thursday videos for almost seven years.
Wow.
Okay. So you're thinking about jumping into the game of Saga. Monty, are the rules available online? Where are they? Where are the PDFs?
There are none. And to be both respectful but realistic, I have had some buddies who are thinking of joining in, who have hunted around. They're used to things being easy, and they've said it's almost like they don't want us to play the game, and that's not the case. It's just there's a way to do it, and that's what this show is all about.
Yeah, so Studio Tomahawk is just a rules publisher company. They don't make models or anything. They make several different games. They've been around for over 10 years, so they've gotten their start kind of in the paper world, and they're not a big company by any stretch, but they make their money in time back by selling rules. It's not like, the other game I play is Corvus Belli's Infinity. You get the rules for free, but they're selling you models. And so one thing with Saga is with the battle boards, having the rules digitally wouldn't necessarily help. You still need some physical media to use. So you would need like 3 iPads to play Saga. You'd have one, your battle board, the other guy's battle board, and then your rules iPad. So just digitally, there's nothing available at this time. That could change in the future. I could see having the rule book as a PDF wouldn't be a bad idea for sale potentially, but people have their opinions on that. So I just mentioned the rule book. Monty, what do you need? What kind of books do you need to play Saga?
So the rule book gets you step 1. From there, you want to take a look around and figure out, perhaps, like if you have a Saga community, you might want to ask around and see which of the Saga ages are popular. There is make sure I get them all, Age of Magic. If you're into fantasy, there is Age of Hannibal. If you like Ancients, there's Age of Invasions, recently dropped. That's the Arthurian era. Mm-hmm. There's Age of Vikings, which is the most popular one in my area. And when we have the U.S. Grand Melee, that's the one that fills up first. And then the very last one is Age of Crusades, if you like knights and factions from that era.
Correct. And then I think there's one book. Did you mention Book of Battles?
Oh, not Book of Battles. Yeah. Oh, that's a perfect one. So one other thing, like if you're in for a penny, in for a pound, it's not uncommon. Like you go, well, I want to put my foot in and see what I like. Book of Battles is your scenarios. And the game of Saga, if you play the same scenario that comes in the back of the rule book over and over and over again, it'll eventually get dry. You definitely want to get Book of Battles.
Yeah, I agree. So if we're looking at the rule book, this one, if you think about getting in, then you need the rule book. We strongly recommend Book of Battles, and then you need an Age of book, which has your army list and a battle board. So you're looking at 3 books, and that could be, to get $100 worth of books getting you set up there realistically. But so for a rule book, I think this one you could probably just one person in your game group could have these. If you don't want everybody to buy a rule book, for cost reasons, because once you get into it, Saga's pretty simple. You don't really reference it that much. The rule set is pretty slick. You're just not really going back a lot to reference the rule book per se. So I think, one per group, just make sure you have one whenever you play. If you own your rule book, I would loan it out without hesitation to newer players. That one, maybe we could get away with, if there's a cost issue. Book of Battles, in my opinion, is a must-have. You might think scenarios, you don't need that one unless you're good with just coming up with scratch scenarios. I think the Book of Battles is a must-have.
Yep.
So you talked about the different ages. There's a lot of historical. There's a historical background to the game. So there's 4 historical ages, 1 magic. Now, if you are just a complete noob, don't have a lot of background with wargaming in general, just get Age of Vikings to start with, you and your gang.
Agree.
You can get away with, maybe 1 age of book per 2 guys. Not everybody needs their own age of book, but once you get set up, you probably do want a copy of everything for yourself. Monty, where do you get your books, your Saga books?
So I either so I'm a bit addicted to Saga. So when I hear there's a new book coming, I will pre-order through Gripping Beast, which is the UK store overseas. There are sometimes the local gaming shops will post up or say, hey, yeah, we're getting a shipment too. And if that's the case, I'll order from them. But I do like getting first wave. Like each book as it's coming out, I'm excited enough that I jump right in and pre-order.
Sure. So you want to be the first in line. So yeah, Gripping Beast is probably going to come up a lot as we talk here. Now, have you ordered after the Brexit and everything?
I have.
You had, and it was always super quick and smooth. And
yes, still was. The book seems fine. Miniatures get a little bit pricey these days.
Okay. So, even with everything going on, they're still a good source. So you can get them. I usually get them through my local game store, and they get it through their distributor, and the distributor gets it through Gripping Beast. So it's the same. It's all coming from the same place. And how often do new books come out, Monty?
Ooh, that's a little tricky, but it feels like the cadence is about a year, sometimes to a year and a half. The world's a little strange, and stuff is on its own time scale with supply issues. But I think year to year and a half is roughly about right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had a long stretch with COVID. I would say probably about once a year. We have seen years with 2 books released, so if everything's lining up, you could see 2 books, but probably once a year and a half. I think that's a good estimate. Monty, is there anything coming out pending as far as we know? A new age of books or anything else?
Right. So I have heard that next in the pipeline, gosh, now I'm kind of nervous to repeat this because I'm trying to remember where I heard it. I had heard that actually there will be an Age of Magic supplement with, I thought there was some sort of little twist on a campaign element. So it'll be like book minor, but it'll add some more boards to the Age of Magic world. And then after that, I think they would move to Age of Caesar, probably.
Okay. Yeah, so nothing super concrete. I don't know where Monty got those rumors from, but we know that there's 2 more ancient books coming out for to work with Age of Hannibal. So one of those is probably your best guess, but we really don't know. The company's pretty tight-lipped until I think they go to printing. I'm sure there's so many delays and stuff. You don't want to speak until it's going out the door, and so that's they will send us heads up from time to time, and we don't hear about anything until it goes to printers. And then you can probably see in the screen graphic here, I'm going to put on the bottom. Monty can't see it, but we're on the 2nd edition of Saga, so there's a new logo, and you can see this old logo, which I kind of like the old logo a little better than the new one. But anything with that old logo is first edition Saga, so we wouldn't recommend picking those up. And a lot of I was kind of doing research for this video, like online stores and stuff are still selling these old supplements. So unfortunately, kind of got to be careful. I mean, they're good reads. First edition was fine, but second edition is so much better in my opinion. Do you agree there, Monty?
100%. 100% agree.
Okay. What are Saga sticks? Do you know?
Oh, measuring sticks.
Okay, so in the game of Saga, there's 4 different movement types. Long, which is 12 inches. Medium is 6. Short is 4. Very short is 2 inches. And can you just use a tape measure if you need to, Monty?
Sure you can.
Yeah.
Why not?
You can just use a tape measure if you're just getting started. There's nothing wrong with that. Even at tournaments, I guess, I don't remember anyone ever using a tape measure at an event, but there's nothing really wrong with it. It's probably more accurate than the sticks. Probably. Monty, if you've seen. I've got a long log and a short log. Yeah. You can print them out from Studio Tomahawk website. They have templates up there. Gripping Beast sells like a cardstock version. If you do a Google image search for Saga measuring sticks, you're going to see a ton of really fancy ones, usually, tailored. This is the Yams Viking measuring stick with Viking symbols.
Yep.
So you will want to pick those up, but those are something you can make from scratch or, just use your tape measure. Do you need any tokens for Saga, Monty?
I do like my tokens. For sure, you, at a minimum, want fatigue tokens, and they can be just about anything that you can find. Like, for example, I had a game called Pandemic, and it was I got a version that was like a one-time storybook playthrough, and then I didn't want to throw the stuff away, and there were little red, tokens in there. I'm like, good, this is perfect. Here's some fatigue tokens.
Yeah, you just need something for fatigue. So you can use glass beads, coins. If you have extra shields, a lot of guys like to use fancy markers. You can buy stuff, whatever, pilfer your favorite board game, and you'll have plenty. Probably, I don't know, 15, 20 would be more than you'd ever need.
Yep.
And then I will say if you play Age of Magic Saga, you probably want a few more tokens and probably ones that you can write on, like a little... even like a 25 millimeter base or something, or, something like a little piece of wood, or I don't know, something you can write on, because there's different effects for spells and stuff like that. So having something more specific, personalized for that age can be helpful. Big one here, Monty, Saga dice. Do you need them?
I mean, you don't, and a lot of people, it's I love my Saga dice, but there are a lot of people who either 3D print them, or they get the plastic cubes, and then you can get these stickers, the shapes and symbols, slap them on there, and there you go, you've got your Saga dice.
Yeah, so definitely a lot of the times at events and stuff, almost everybody has them. If you are trying to pick up new players, usually having the official dice makes people are more interested in, what are those? But you're right. You can count a 6 as the rare, 4s and 5s as the uncommons, and just use your regular D6s for the battle boards. And you talked about a couple of great options. And I should say it can be sometimes hard to get the actual official ones. And this is also a problem with the books, in that the game is popular, but it's not super popular where they're printing constantly. So there's going to be runs of the books, of 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 copies. And I think it's the same with the dice. And, there's no big warehouse anywhere. Gripping Beast is probably the warehouse, where a lot of this is stored. But at times you can find, there's no Age of Crusades books out there, Gripping Beast is out of stock. Nobody else has it. Where can I get this? So I think some of the frustration with not having the rules online can stem back to that. Well, the same kind of issues with those books can apply to the dice. And sometimes, there's no more Welsh dice out there in the world. They're, you're looking around, they're all bought up everywhere. And that's because they're going to do another run of dice in a month or something. So you can definitely 3D print them. I've seen those. I guess I have seen them in person. I don't know anybody locally who does that, but you can definitely go to the Studio Tomahawk website and you can print out the symbols and glue them to your little wooden cubes. Or, if you just have little cubes, you can draw on them. If you're playing the Vikings, it's pretty easy to draw those runes. A little harder for other war bands. So Gripping Beast sells them, but Studio Tomahawk, they put the symbols on the site, so it seems pretty clear that they're cool with people just making their own. And I've made plenty myself. I've got a video way back in the archives here somewhere about making them. So you definitely got ways to make them if you have trouble getting a hold of them. Let's talk about the models here, Monty. Let's talk about historicals first.
Right. I like this.
And first up, I'm coming at it if you're a complete noob and you don't know anything about anything. So I recommended Age of Vikings. The next thing I'm going to recommend, and this will probably be for anybody getting a Saga, is the Gripping Beast Plastic Viking Herdman box set. Now, not the Viking starter set, the actual Viking Herdman box set, and I'm going to have a little picture of the cover of it. But you get 44 Vikings for $32. And for me, this is the best deal out there. There are Victrix Vikings too. Monty, we're aware of this.
Yep.
Some people like those sculpts better. I actually do like them, but they're a little more complicated. They're a little more fiddly, and some of the swords and spears are very prone to breaking. So
yes, they are.
That's why I favor the Gripping Beast Plastic Vikings. I think it's a better deal. And they're great to have for getting into the game. Somebody, if you're don't know which faction to pick, you're gonna play Vikings. We know this, and then it's good for demo games. Just having these models, even if you're not super interested in Vikings, I would recommend that. If you are assembling these Viking Herdmen, a lot of the models are similar. So you can just use different colored shields for the Hearthguard and the Warriors when you're painting them up to differentiate them. But it is a complete warband in a box. Monty, are there any other options? Okay, let's think about plastics here.
Right.
There's actually quite a few makers of historical plastics nowadays. Just within the last 5 years, I would say, there's really become a lot of options out there.
Agree.
Do you want to name a couple? Can you name some off the top of your head? Let's see if you can get them all that I thought of.
Oof. Well, probably not because I'm caught cold, but let me take a stab. So War Games Atlantic is doing a heck of a job. They, for me, came out of nowhere, and they just keep dropping good and interesting stuff. For all sorts of ages, and some fantasy too. I think, oh gosh, now I'm having to spin a little bit. I think you could find a narrow range of plastics for later medieval with the Perry line. No, that might be a little late. Okay, so let me then jump to Fireforge. Fireforge is really nice, really good stuff. Highly recommended. We've got Gripping Beast. Gripping Beast. We've got Victrix. Victrix, oh my gosh, if you need Ancients, I mean, that's right where you're going to want to go. I don't know that anyone does a lot of plastic or any plastic Ancients other than Victrix. And that's where I think I'll stop. I think I'll stop so you can swoop in the ones that I might have missed.
Warlord.
Right.
They got some Ancients as well.
That's a good one. Yep.
Some Gauls and Romans. And then one of the longest running plastic lines, Conquest Games, Normans.
Oh, good one.
They haven't done anything else, really, as far as I'm aware.
They're
But
riding those Normans into the sunset.
yeah, they got a couple of good plastic Norman kits. So
Mm-hmm.
those are, that's a ton of great plastic options
A
out there.
lot.
No matter what age you're looking
Yep.
at, you're going to find something. Monty, for metals, what are you thinking of
Oof.
here? Gripping Beast has metals.
Right. Gripping.
Foundry is a
Right.
classic metals. What are your
Yep.
your
Another wonderful
favorites?
one. I would put Footsore in there. Footsore, fabulous sculpts, and they cover like these ages very, very well. And a lot of the figures are very portable. So if you take a peek, like for example at the Footsore site and other sites, they'll say, here's our Irish line, and then you look at their Scots line, and the Scots line also looks like the Irish line, and then you go look at the Welsh line, which looks like those two, and then you take a look at the Picts, and they all have like they're all kind of lumped together. So that's kind of a secret other issue, which is, you can paint one warband or build one warband in Saga and then proxy it across multiple boards and multiple factions, multiple warbands.
Yeah, so that's one of the secret sauce of Saga. So when you pick up those Vikings, you have a Viking army battle board that you can use that has certain tactics on it, but you can use them as the Vikings who were rolling into Ireland and Scotland. You can use them as the Vikings who were tromping down the rivers over in Russia, and
Right.
or the mythical Viking Brotherhood, the Yams Vikings, which
Right.
may or may not have existed. You can do those guys. So the Vikings who settled in England, they've been there for a while. They're the bosses. So a lot of playability. Monty, can you use circle or square bases? Which does Saga use?
You can use either one. What is your preference? And even better, if you have something on the shelf, if you're a historical gamer who played Warhammer Ancient Battles or some other system where you have your figures on square bases, bring them on down.
Exactly. So circle or square is fine. The base, there are some base stipulations, but basically whatever you want to use that's reasonable is fine. If you're pulling it from a different game system, it's almost certainly going to work. And then as we get into Age of Magic, there's no point in trying to go through every fantastical manufacturer, but needless to say, whatever you want to use, you can use. There's rules for infantry size guys, ogre sized, cavalry, the big monsters, war machines. The base sizes are very loose. I will say the GW bases are getting just phenomenally huge nowadays. So stuff that's come out in the last couple of years could technically be too big according to the rules, but Saga is very flexible, and there's no having big bases is probably a disadvantage in most situations. So you can use whatever you want for Age of Magic, and you can shoehorn it into one of those 6 factions, and no problem. So hopefully that helps you out. Can you play Saga online, Monty? Is there a way to do that?
You actually can. And so if you're in if you're in a place, if you're in a rural location, you want to play Saga, but there's no one near you to play, you don't have anyone to try this against, you can go to, so you go to Steam and you get Tabletop Simulator and you download the mods for Saga, which once you pay for Tabletop Simulator, the mods are free. This is like fan work and stuff they've done. You download those mods. You go into something like, Rodge's Discord server, and you say, I'm looking for a game, and someone will show you how to play it, and you can play digitally.
Yeah, so if you are savvy in that stuff, you'll probably find it pretty easy. I do have a couple tutorial links. I didn't make them, somebody else did, but they specifically showed how you can play Saga on Tabletop Simulator. So in every video description down there somewhere is a link to those videos if you want to play online. I don't think there's a super large community, but you can definitely find people. And if you and your buddies want to learn that way, it could be a good way to learn. Now, you mentioned the Saga Thursday Discord. Where else can you learn about Saga? It's not just us, Monty.
right,
You know, where else can people get info about Saga?
Some really good locations. First of all, I would highly recommend like the biggest Facebook Saga group. I know some people hate Facebook. I understand that, seriously, but it is a great place for the hobby, and that's why I go. So there is a Saga Facebook group, and people are sharing like their work in progress, rules questions, after action reports, just lots of discussion. There is also a forum out on the internet. Studio Tomahawk runs it. And like the fans of Saga, again, we should point out, like the person who creates this, he has a full-time job, and he has probably about 6 or 8 games in the stable of Studio Tomahawk. So like he does these things, but like the fans kind of have to fill it in. It isn't like this one game is his full-time job and his income. It's one of a stable of things, and these are things he does nights and weekends, right? So you go to Studio Tomahawk, and the people who play Saga will answer questions, post pictures, and post announcements for tournaments and events and things like that.
Yeah, you hit the kind of the big three there: the Studio Tomahawk forum, the Saga Facebook group, and the Saga Thursday Discord are probably the most active places you can go. Now, there are some other content creators here on YouTube. Herkus Monte is one. He just came out with another campaign video. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm curious to see how his Age of Invasions Limes campaign is going. And then another one who's pretty prolific is Graham's Wargaming Vault.
Yep.
There are probably 2 or 3 other ones. Very occasionally, I know there's like Wargaming Saga is one I've seen, and then on the Boots on the Tabletop, I think, with Dom, we'll have a Saga occasionally. Otherwise, for podcasts, there's a couple out there. Northern Tempest is very sporadic.
Yep.
But kind of the oldest Saga podcast. If you're just getting into it, you enjoy the back catalog. Saga Ohio is a little more prolific, and something just came out recently. I haven't listened to the latest one, Monty. You were back on there. What were you talking about?
So Mike and I were talking about the picks, and then we wound it up with just talking about painting, the hobby of painting and what pulls us in. So it was a fun discussion. He always he gets a new guest almost every show, and so it was kind of fun to be on there for a second time.
Yeah, it's fun to listen to those. As far as what you'll find in the Saga Thursday playlist, for Age of Vikings, I do have almost all the faction reviews done. There's a few left, I think. So Norse Gales is coming, probably in March, maybe. And then Yams Vikings, I think, and Irish, I believe, are the last ones to go. So I think I'm going to have just a link on Rodge Rules below, but that's just kind of has the top Saga Thursday episodes that might be pertinent to a beginner. So the faction reviews, and then kind of the more tactical discussion ones from you and me. So terrain tactics, Hearthguard's Worth It, always a popular video. Advanced movement and charging tactics. So on the Saga Thursday playlist, you'll find a lot to chew on as a new player. But I think that is about it. There are plenty of events out there. There's no good way to necessarily learn about them other than posts on the Facebook groups, the Discord, or the Studio Tomahawk forum. So if you're plugged into those, hopefully you'll know about what's going on. But definitely in Europe, there's a lot of action going on there.
Yes, there is.
I know, but people play in Australia. I've gotten emails from South Africa. They're playing down there. In the United States, people have emailed me from all over the country. In the Midwest, we have a good group of players, but there's people playing everywhere. I think there's just a lot of basement players out there. I think maybe that's more of a historical thing where you just stick to the basement, not necessarily go out to the game store. But folks are out there. You got to do a little digging, but you can definitely find them. And going to ADEPTICON and those other big events will help get you in touch with those folks. So, anything that you think we missed here, Monty?
So I was going to just add a couple ideas, because like if you want to do this and you don't have a buddy who's going to jump in with you, right? That's the challenge. So a couple ways to try to sleuth your way to like people who might be doing this is just go ahead and go down to like your friendly local gaming store and ask the employees, do people play Saga here? Do you guys carry Saga? And sometimes if they don't carry it, because, you know, it's tough to carry a lot of different games nowadays outside of Games Workshop, you know, they can just clue you in if people come down and play. So that's like one place to look for it. You can look online, but that's a little tricky. But then a second place is, I have noticed, like, again, going back to Facebook and your other social medias, but especially Facebook, there will be local Saga Facebook groups. So like in the Twin Cities, we have a thing called Saga Storm. And that is like the perfect gateway to get you into like where are people playing, who are playing, right? And you guys have something, is it through your store in Wausau? Stuff like that. Like that pulls you into your local Saga community. Yeah, we just
have just like a Facebook miniature gaming group for our city.
Okay.
So
it's
a lot of 40K stuff, but I post in there, and people are like, "Hey, what is this? What is going on?" And so I've got a couple. You know, I posted the events on there. I knew everybody who played Saga in town, but I posted it on the group regardless. And there was a couple new people who were like, "Well, what is this?" And I started chatting them up, and I think we might have a new player on our hands. We were talking about stuff, and I was trying to talk about the armies and stuff in Age of Vikings, and he's like, "Nah, you don't. I'll just get the Vikings. You don't have to explain what the Anglo-Danes are. I'll just get the Vikings."
So Rodge, if I can sneak in one of my questions to you, because it's something I think about, and I think it's kind of important. So if I'm interested in Saga, but I don't have a deep background in the history, can I still play?
Yeah, you can definitely play. So there's a lot of interesting tidbits in the books that kind of lay everything out for you and give you the description. People come at it from different places. So I came from miniature gaming, and I like the rules of Saga, and I like Vikings and stuff too, and I like history, but I don't necessarily like talking a lot about history or diving into people will watch this. We don't really talk about the history that much. Where on Saga Ohio, it's kind of fun because he does talk a little bit more about the history of the factions and stuff like that, which is interesting. But people do come at it from a historical side too. So if you do really like history, you can really dig into it. And these are, this is this king from this era, and this is him, and these are his guys, and this is what was on their shields, and that's the flag that he had. So you can definitely do that and get into it. But that far back in time, it's nebulous enough that I can also just paint them however I want for the most part. So you don't have to be a big history buff, maybe in the same way that if you're doing, bolt action or flames of war, there might be a more community pull to just kind of do them the way that they're supposed to be. Maybe you can speak a little bit to that, but I think probably if you are looking for players, a good place might be Bolt Action or Flames of War. Players, if you play those games, I think they're kind of primed a little bit to be a little bit more interested in Saga than maybe some other games. What do you think about that, Monty?
100% agree. I can't believe you said that. It's almost like you're in my head because I have been working both sides. I've been getting some of my Saga friends to play Bolt Action, and I've been getting some of my Bolt Action friends to jump over to Saga. So I absolutely agree. There's this like if you like a game that at its core it is a game with historical chrome. It's not like a perfect representation of history, and certainly not Saga, because that far back, people can argue about this and that. And you know what? We're not button counters. I guess that's one of the things I'd like to say is we're not button counters. No one's going to say, those trousers don't look quite right. They should have been these colors. You do your thing. And for me, Rodge, like you, when I came to this, I knew very little about the Dark Ages, and it has been kind of a gateway drug to pull me into the Dark Ages. And now, I love this stuff, and I wonder how did I ignore it as long as I did. So, it's if you don't have to, but it might pull you in. Maybe we should warn them that.
Yeah, and I'll just add that Saga is such a easy game to play, a good secondary game. You walk away from it for 6 months, you come back, you still know all the rules. There probably won't be a new book out.
Right.
Your models are still usable. They always will be.
Yes.
You don't have to make lists. You just show up. The list building takes 30 seconds. You can do it as you put your models down. So when you are talking to Bolt Action guys, you're doing it in good faith. It's not like you're trying to get them away from Bolt Action. With Saga, you can play Saga in addition to any other game because the rules are so easy to learn and remember, and the meta, the pace of change is very slow, which I like. I like that in a game. Some people don't. But as a secondary game, definitely, that's something you want to look for, where you don't have to research and figure out what the hell's going on, what supplements you need, should I even bother to play? Because, there's new armies have come out and they're just going to kick me in the teeth because I don't know what they're doing. So Saga isn't like that. It's a great secondary game. And, the best way to get people into games is, meeting them where they're at, playing multiple games and throwing some Saga on top, this whipped cream on top.
Yep.
So, yeah, I don't know. Is that it then? I think did we hit everything?
I think that's it. Yeah. I mean, it's fast. It's fun. It goes very well with beer or your favorite frosty beverage of choice.
So this is what you need to know about Saga in 2022, but it's basically the same thing you need to know about Saga in 2021 and 2020. We may revisit it next year, but there really isn't going to be much that we're going to add next year. Maybe fingers crossed there'll be a new book. New books are nice, but I think that's it for now. So let's move on to a little scenario discussion.
Got it.
So FIMBULWINTER coming up here. It's my first tournament for Saga that I've done. Well, I guess it's not the first one. They let anybody run things at ADEPTICON, apparently. But so this is my first standalone event. So we're doing 3 scenarios here, and these guys are going to be guinea pigs for us this year. So let me bring up this scenario. So we're doing 3 scenarios. So we've talked about New Feud already last time. We're going to play that one. We're going to play First Contact. And I'll have a link to the tournament packet here if anybody wants to look at it, which is also a modification of Book of Battle scenario. And then last year, we have a new one that I haven't talked about since last time. So probably every episode from here for a while, I'll probably talk about a new scenario that I've redone here, I'm thinking. But this one is reimagining of Desecration. And I called it violation. So just enough to confuse people on is this the real one or not? Monty, I don't think you really had a chance to look at it, but what are your thoughts just on the desecration scenario?
I adore desecration. I adore it because it is a scenario that forces you to kind of do three things all at once with just a handful of saga dice. You need to get across the board. You need to, actually four things. You need to get across the board. You need to fight your enemy, as always. You need to break some of their objective markers open. And then you need to defend yours. And so that is really a lot to do. And it kind of, it makes you it really stretches a warband. And for that reason, I really enjoy it.
Yeah. So desecration is the one where you have three markers you place on your side of the board. There's stipulations on where they go, but you have to destroy them because otherwise you are capped as far as the massacre points you score. So they don't actually, it's so interesting, they don't move the needle necessarily ahead unless you're also killing the enemy. You have to win the game still, in addition to knocking these things down. And I'm like you, I like this scenario. It's probably one of the ones I'll default to. So I don't think anything really needed to be done to it, but in the spirit of redoing them anyways, I did tweak it a little bit. So for the markers, I just tweaked a little bit that they can't be, basically you're always going to have one touching your table edge. So I don't know, whenever you see that in a game, you're like, all right, that's a little cheeky there. That would never have, it just looks off. So you have to put two at least in your deployment zone, and then one has to go out. So they're going to end up a little closer. So some of the infantry armies might have a little easier time of going after them. I specified that you can place one of the markers in cover, which is the same as the scenario. But I specified light cover. So this is a way just to monkey with the terrain, so maybe you don't go for solid cover first. You go for a piece of light cover, just to change it up. And, so, and then I specified that you do get the cover bonus because it's not clear in this scenario if they can benefit from cover or not. So I just clarified that they could. So if you're in light cover, you only get an extra pip against shooting. So, and you're probably not going to be shooting them out anyways, but it's just making you have to go into the terrain. So now there was, I thought, a little bit of a little issue with this scenario that would always get a little sweaty in the palms. And that is that when you attack them, they always roll basically double the defense dice. So you do 3 hits, they roll 6 defense dice. And statistically, you should go through, but you can never, even if you hammer them, you just can't be sure that you're going to destroy it. So if you're rolling in with 8 Hearthguard, that should kill it, in my opinion. That should wipe it out. Now, you don't want to do that necessarily, but if you have to, that should take out this little totem pole or whatever the heck, the goodie pile it is. Because, I don't know, I think even just in the last episode or two, I mean, you could charge them 3 times and they save them all. And then they charge it one, the first time, they send a levy guy in does one hit, fails both saves, and sneaks it through. So I changed it in my version to they always get to roll 2 extra defense dice. So again, it's, 1 hit, this is better. If they take 10 hits, they're going to only save a 12 they roll 12 dice instead of 20. So
Exactly.
if you really want to hammer it, you can do it. But I also added, you can roll 2 additional defense dice if there's a friendly unit within short of the marker. So it'll go up to 4. So you kind of want to clear it if you can. And then you also have that, if you play this one, sometimes they'll leave one undefended, completely way off in the corner. So now you can, should I put a unit back there to guard it or not? Because it does get a lot sturdier with a unit hanging around. And otherwise, it's pretty much the same. Now, I think you actually played it, so I was going to guinea pig everybody at the tournament.
Right.
But it was in the rules pack. You're not coming to the event, but somebody you played against is. So did it... How did it go? I guess the defense dice thing is the main difference.
So I love desecration, and I love this adaptation of desecration. My personal thing is I like to, there's an approach I have. I like to stress my opponents by putting the markers as far apart as possible. And then also, if the opportunity presents itself, like you put here, you could put down a big, beefy, uneven piece of ground, let's just say in the lane, the straight as the crow flies, walks towards that objective. So there's little things you can do to slow them down. And I try to then really push hard on one. So in our game, that's what happened. And, it was going very well. In fact, it was one of those kind of strange games, Rodge, where it got out of hand pretty quickly, but it set up well. It played well. I like it a lot. I think your guinea pigs are going to like it a lot too.
Okay. Yeah. And I was actually looking at it again. There is one final difference. And so the little table with destruction is the same.
Yep.
But if at the end of the game you're controlling the marker, you could pip up your massacre point cap by a few points as well. So if you did hammer it 3 times at the end of the game, at least you're still standing next to it. If you're controlling it, you get a little boost as well.
Right.
And then for the variants here, so I threw in a little Hearthguard or creature bonus. So at the end of the game, if you're playing the Conqueror's variant, unit of Hearthguards or creatures, if they're controlling it at the end of the game, it counts as being destroyed instead of just being controlled. So little incentive for taking Hearthguards or creatures. And now I also added another variant, which I think I might try to put something like this in every other one, where there's like a automatic, like a game end, like a kill, kind of like New Feud. It has a kill switch. This one is if you can destroy all 3 of the enemy's markers by the end of turn 4, and you still have at least one of your own, the game will end automatically, and they can win.
I love it.
So that one might be fun.
Yes,
definitely. In the round 2 of the event, if you're sandwiched for time there, you want some. I just really need a couple of these to end early for
exactly
entering the scores into the tournament application. I'll throw that one on there. So, this one I'll throw it up on the Rodge Rules site as well, and people can take a look at that. So after the event, I'll see how it went. There's a chance I might be playing myself if there's an odd or even number. And so I may adjust these 3 scenarios if I see fit. But we'll see how it goes.
Nice. Another gem, Rodge.
Yeah, looking forward to FIMBULWINTER. Pretty pumped about that. We've got a nice venue. I've been sorting out the terrain and everything. Might drag out. I've got some podcasting equipment from the days of old. Might haul it out there, set it up. I've talked about it before, Monty, but this might finally be it.
Yes, I like it.
There could be a video or two about it in our future, but really looking forward to it as we're recording. We're less than a week out. And all right, well, let's get to the gripping beast. Let's rub our little nubbins together here.
Yes.
Monty.
Yep.
All right.
Some gorgeous stuff.
Let me... Hold on, I gotta... There we go. Get ready here.
Mm-hmm.
I have to bring in some more software programs to capture this, so it's gonna go good. All right, Monty, so as we're recording this, we are 1 day ahead of the deadline. So originally we were going to record this 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, January 31st, which is the deadline for the contest. Now, we've had some personal stuff come up, no worries, but we're recording this 1 day in advance. So we are going to go through the entries that are up, and we'll talk about them. We're going to pick our favorite from what's up there, so unfortunately, if you're working on your masterpiece and you didn't get in there, you snooze, you lose. Sorry. Should have got it in earlier. Something to keep in mind for next time, I guess. But I think there's always a couple coming in on the deadline. But we're going to pick our favorite from what's up there. And that's going to be a SAGA THORSDAY pint glass. Now, I will wait to do the random drawing until after this recording. So
Nice.
For you and I, as we're recording this, we don't know who the random winner is, who gets the Gripping Beast box set, but it'll be posted in the video. Maybe right now, look below the video screen. Somebody will be named as a random winner. Congrats to that person. Monty, give him a congrats.
Good job.
So they win a Gripping Beast plastic box set. Thank you to Gripping Beast. But let's take a look at these. Monty, it's been a while.
It has.
People were quick to jump on this. The first one, I don't know when the video came out, but on January 7th, we already had our first before pictures. And starts out with a slew of those.
Yep.
It was good to see. I'll have to go back and see how many failed. How many we got the before picture. we never got the...
I don't think we want to do that.
No, it's not worth
no
effort there.
The world, sometimes life gets in the way.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, but a lot of cool models.
Yeah.
Folks
lots
are
of
showing
stuff.
off. The first person to actually finish it was the Giant, I believe.
Yes. Mag
the Batman, Meg the Mighty.
Yes.
And this is cool. I think this is a Song of Ice and Fire miniature.
Looks like it is.
One of the big giants from the show.
Yep. Love it.
He looks cool there. Those are cool models.
They really are.
If you're looking at Age of Magic and you're going to build something specifically, I think the Ice and Fire minis have the right vibe and base sizes. What do you think about that blue skin?
Love
Monty?
it. Skin is great. I just adore like all the color and character in the model itself. He's winding up. He's got elephant tusks around his waist because he's a huge monster. Just full of color and character. Love this one. Skin is well done. Details. He looks great.
Yeah, he looks good. He deserved a couple more angles, the Batman, but I like the blue skin. Gives it a nice Age of Magic, like Frost Giant D&D vibe, doesn't it? Where if you just had normal skin, he just kind of looks like a big ogre then. So very cool. And he said that this is his alpha of a Morrow Island warband. So
yes.
That is... I'm not sure. The Horde can take or is it the other world? Which warband can take it's one of the legendaries. They just take nothing but monsters.
Oh, wow.
I think it might be the Horde.
Okay.
And your alpha is the only one who can use Saga abilities because they're monsters, you know?
Oh, no. Oh, right. And it says Morrow Island Horde. So, yeah, that makes sense. Yep, you got it.
Oh, it is Horde. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's awesome. All right. Scrolling down. More works in progress. Yeah,
Yep.
we got a ton of people coming up
really
here.
did.
So,
really did.
Nick Nack Naj managed to finish off 3 models today.
Yes. Yes.
And
looks like a shaman, a banner bearer, and a warlord.
Yeah.
What a nice trio here.
So this is Victrix models. Is the like the shaman druid guy? Is he a Victrix too? Do you think?
So
Probably.
I think, yeah, right. So staff.
How wrinkly? How wrinkly are his clothes? Let's.
I think the head swap is. So I think this is I'm going to call this a kit bash. I think he's used a couple things here because I'm looking at this and this doesn't seem to be. I mean, and hey, it just doesn't seem to be like you said, all Victrix, which is fine. It's full of character.
Yeah.
The head definitely looks like a Viking head, but that arm and some of the clothes, right? Like you're saying, looks like might be some other lines.
It just says champion, banner, priest.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Yeah, I think for next time we'll have to specify. It's always nice when people post the manufacturer because if you do something cool, people are like, "Oh, where did that come from?"
Exactly.
So he did 3. Fortunately, the contest was just for 1, and but I probably which one do you like best, Monty? I think I like the druid guy.
Yeah, that war paint over his eyes really works well. He really looks like a character. And the warlord with the Dane axe, I mean, who doesn't love a Dane axe? He's awesome too.
He's cool. I like the giant rocks. So these are cool. Those would be good for if you needed them to be on 25s for something specific.
Okay.
But you could put them on, do a 40 mil base too, and then set it into the 40 mil base, and having a giant rock like that would look really cool in a 40 mil base if you had to do that. And good looking banner. Do you think that's a little big man banner? Kind of looks, the shield kind of looks like it.
I mean, I have done so many little big man. I feel like the shield is little big man. The banner, I can't. I mean, it's hard to say. Yeah, I mean, I recognize like what it is, but yeah, that's very clever.
Yeah, looks good.
Like the tattoos too.
Nice work.
Viking symbols.
Yeah, I like how they're kind of faded. Looks realistic. So nice work there, Nick Naj. Yeah, popping down. Andrew's 89.
Yep.
Another Victrix here. And I went the severed head route.
Yep.
And
I love that.
I like that he went gold.
Yeah.
Gold chains on the like helmet piece to kind of make it separate from the chainmail on the rest of the body.
That is nice. And I love that he's got a holy man with a cross, and he's like, here's where is your God now? He says to the man who he's holding him by his hair.
Yeah, those were
too good.
Those were savage times, Monty.
Christian
God was a little different back then. It's matured since. I like the dollop of blood on the rock.
Yes.
Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
That's good. So nice base work.
Done.
We're looking at multiple tufts here.
Yep.
Some little flowers. Vine thingies.
Right.
I just want to see it from behind. We got the shield.
Right. Hand painted.
Hand painted.
Yep. And the monk. Nice little highlights on his robe there.
Yeah, this has got to be. Does he say what it is? We have an Anglo-Dane warlord.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Before and after. There we go. Yep.
But all right. So these are on the same base. So I will count them. We will count them as one entry.
Yes.
As it's a legal entry on the same base. Are they? So it looks like he painted them separate, maybe, but
Yeah.
based them together. All right. Wow. Thank you, Andrews.
Very nicely done.
Brody Boru. He has square bases, so
there we go.
ballsy man. And these are cool. These hats, are these like Village Rabble, Monty? Do you recognize these? They have a plastic feel to them, don't they?
Right, they definitely do. The holding of, like, one holding the Holy Book and the other one holding an announcement. I don't know, like, unless there's a kit bash to put those books and the paper in their hand, could those be Games Workshop?
They could be, but I'm kind of thinking more, there's Oathmark Games has plastic fantasy.
Right.
Their Frostgrave has like plastic adventurer kits, which I think could be very useful to us historical guys who like to kit bash, because there's still not that many. But if you're doing fantasy models that are grounded in reality, the way that the Frostgrave and Oathmark stuff is.
Bingo. I think you nailed it. I think it's Frostgrave. I haven't painted them in a long time, and you're right. They've got whole lines, so this would make sense. Kind of a repurposing of, some of the Frostgrave stuff. That's awesome. Very clever.
They look good. He doesn't elaborate on what it is. We'll assume it's a priest. I don't know what kind of wizard. It could literally be.
Yeah.
It could be Age of Magic, I guess. You could use a cross in Age of Magic. There's no rules against that.
Right.
Otherwise, he kind of has a wizard vibe to him.
Yep.
Very cool. All right. Up next, we got Martin Teasdale, Mr. Teasdale. Yeah. So he has won at least 2 prior contests. So
yes,
we can see he's at it again. So
yes,
a very kingly looking fellow here. Very, very well done. So he says, here's his entry for the contest. He's pretty happy. He's at it a while. And it's the first one he's finished since buying a house and having a kid this summer. Well,
wow.
Congrats. And I think we've definitely been there. Trying to hobby with a newborn in the house can be challenging. So that's awesome. So he tried some new paints, Golden So Flat. So I've actually heard about So Flat from somebody else recently as well.
Interesting.
So that's like an artist paint that is supposed to work pretty good.
Oh.
And this guy looks pretty good here, Monty.
Oh yeah. Can I I'm like really drilling down. I love this, right? I think I count 1, 2, 3, 4 steps on the red, and it really shows, right? All that, the extra steps. Mm-hmm. Myself being a, base, mid-tone, and highlight is about all the higher my painting ever goes. So I like that.
Mm-hmm. Monty refuses to do that 4th step. You damn your 4th step. Exactly. I will not. Yeah, so he looks good. Now he doesn't specify what it's for. I'm a little suspicious here, Monty, because of the 25 millimeter base. I don't think this is a Saga hero. I think this is a Dungeons and Dragons model that he's trying to pass off for the contest.
I love it.
Martin, tell us what he used him in Saga for.
What he's really for.
He looks a little too medieval. Well, no, he could definitely be a Dark Age king. I guess. Yeah. With that little crown, but nice work on the cloak there.
Yep.
As well. All right.
Beautiful.
Moving up, we've got the 6'2", 160 IQ average Saga enjoyer, which
always
is
changing his moniker.
Herkus,
confusing, Herkus. Come on.
Just stick to it, man.
Right.
And so he painted up a warlord. Now he doesn't specify in the post what it is, but he has posted. Do you remember? Is this like an Avar?
So you
warlord?
Have a very good memory. This is an Avar figure but he might be using it as a Hun, as Hun warlord. There's a small chance he might be using it as a Goth warlord. I really should know which he's using it for, but it doesn't specify.
But I like the colors here.
Yeah.
And
yes,
it seems very historical. I don't know if it is, but it gives me that historical vibe.
Yep.
That color. We have a dark gray, like a light faded yellow, cream, the poppin' blue on the shield, which the shield would probably be the most colorful because it was freshly painted before the fight, or your clothes kind of get worn out. He's got a bluish sleeves, green cloak, some orange on the quiver here, and well done. I think, Monty, you noted some texture on the
right. I gotta say, having painted not this figure, but horses that are, let's say, barded like this, with this kind of like cloth or leather, on the head and neck. It's a pretty flat surface, so you get to that and you're like, I wonder what I should do. Like, it doesn't take washes really well, and it looks like he's really taken the time to kind of stipple it and add some little touches just to break it up. I don't know. I'd actually really like to know what technique he uses, because it's taken something that's difficult to paint and he's painted it very well.
Yeah, I agree.
Nicely
Just looking
done.
at it from both sides. Yeah, good basing. Very, very heroic. Good job overall.
Yes.
All right. We've got Terry in Chicago. Now, just with his motion blur or on his camera here or whatever, is conveying a real sense of energy and motion with his photos.
Super dynamic pose.
Yeah.
I think this is I'm going to get it wrong. There was a Kickstart. Is it Caballeros? Someone was 3D printing a line, and it's spectacular.
There's a Patreon. It's one of those 3D print Patreons.
Okay.
I actually chatted with him a little bit about these, and so you don't have to have a 3D printer. You can get the 3D print work done on like a commission contract. You just kind of order them, the way that you would any other figure. They were comparable in price to resin models like the V&V miniatures or Brother Vinny's. So a little more expensive than plastic kits or your metals, but they look really good. I'm very interested in that model line as well. They've got some good looking camels in that range. So we've got the battle dog here.
Yep,
Is that a dog or a cat?
Coming to chomp down on you. And I like this. I mean, this is really nice. I like the yellows and reds. I like the red repeating in the oh gosh, come on. Not bridal work. There's an actual term for this. All the parts that go around the horse.
I don't know what that stuff has. But
yeah. Anyways, it's
Yeah,
very nice.
I think it looks good. I like the red and the yellow. He did some real zoom in close. Like, I don't even think we have one of the entire. Oh, there is one kind of from behind of the entire model.
There we go.
But it's good. This is one that when I'm playing, like, just at the normal visual level, looks better than my models. And then it's only when you get within like 6 inches that it gets a little more rough and ready. But I think that's probably the way to do it. Optimize for 2 feet out. Versus my 6 inches. I optimize for 3 inches in front of my face, Monty. much to my detriment. So always something to keep in mind. So yeah, it looks good. Great model.
Yeah.
Great painting. And
nicely done.
Next up, Sons of Heptarchy. So we
Uh-huh.
have
Oh, yes.
Oswald of Northumbria,
Yep.
recently
Love that.
assembled Saxon warlord. So it looks like, if that's a dust jacket in the back, the King of the North. Have you read that one, Monty?
I have not. I have not.
I'll have to add it to the reading list.
Yeah, looks good.
So we've got 3 models on one
Nice.
base. So
Clever.
we'll count it.
Yep.
Are these footsore, Monty?
I think so. The first 2 for sure. I think the monk is too.
Yeah, I think
the
I
monk
have
is.
that priest
Okay.
guy
okay.
from Footsore. So we'll count them all on the same base. And
Yep.
we got the banner
Yep.
as well. I think it
Yeah.
looks good. I like the colors. Looks cohesive. And basing's well done. Added the flowers.
Love it. Nice pop of purple.
Looks good. It does make me want to. I haven't done any banners for Saga. I can't think of any that I've done. Monty, when you're putting together an army, will you throw a banner in there? I feel like you usually do.
Yes, yes. And I mean, I will do the little big man, but I also I really like to do a linen banner, which while linen is a pain to paint on, I just like the texture and the nubbiness and that it kind of the light peeks through it. So it looks a little battle worn.
So like linen. So is this linen?
I don't. Well, I could.
There
be
looks
wrong.
like a
Wait.
texture to it, but it could be
It does look like
a little. I don't really know what the little big man shields are, or banners look like. Usually they're more. They kind of look like the shields, really intricate, blown up. But there is like a texture on this, so I kind of wonder if it's printed with a texture on it.
I see it. And the only thing that's throwing me is when I do my linen, to show the kind of brokenness, is that usually around the outer edges you could see the frayed stray pieces because it's so.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And
so
yes, but I see the texture, but the texture on the edges is flat. So I'm stumped. You're right. There is a texture to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice.
You have to post and let us know how you did that. Sons of Heptarchy.
Yeah, it's very nice.
I like it. And then we got a little bonus one in here, the ABG.
Yep.
So he didn't. It was finished a few days before the competition, and it's not a legal Carthaginian warlord, but he likes it better than most of the warlords. So he looks cool. I know,
He does.
Is this just a guy from the Carthaginian set or something? You could just give one a sword.
Right. He's done a little work here. I think, if I remember this right, his shields are 3D printed. So that's awfully nice because you can see the scorpion is raised. It gives you a kind of depth that you don't get in shields, right? So that's a way that he's made his whole army pop, is that he has these 3D with the whatever the symbol is, it's raised just a little bit. So that's such a nice job. And he looks like he's got a scar or 2 on his face, and I love I think it's a falcata. He does look awesome.
That's cool.
The warlord I'd want to run.
That's a very interesting idea about the 3D printed shields.
Yep.
We'll have to. Is that in the Discord somewhere where he chatted
talks
about
it? Right. And I think he had to pay for them, but I wouldn't know where to source them. But yeah, I do agree. If you see his group pictures. I mean, people love it because
I think
it's an
I've
effect
seen
you
those.
can't get otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that would be, it's cool for these ones, but even for the Viking shields, you'd have another option.
Yeah.
Besides freehand and little big man, there'd be a middle option where the quarter is. Design is on there, or the Raven design is on, so you could just paint over it, because that would be my preference ideally. So I might have to ping him and see what is all available. But good looking guy.
Yep.
Glotkin, we got a Victrix Viking warlord.
Yes. So, with a Dane axe and a bear pelt.
Yeah, he looks cool.
He really does. He's ready.
There's a couple really heroic Vikings in that set, so there's at least probably 4 different ones. You can get a badass looking dude. So the big bear pelt is one of them. Don't want to mess with him.
No.
Coming at ya. You know what? I'll pay. Take my gold.
That's right. Dane yelled.
All right. And we've got an Age of Magic.
Yes.
African sorcerer here.
Love it.
Some context of some warriors behind here.
Yep.
So this one's kind of tough to see what's going on, but the snake is cool.
Right.
Anytime. I think I had anytime you can paint a snake, like this is the one. What is it? Red on yellow, kill a fellow.
Yeah.
There you go. Back off. He's coming at you.
Oh, that's good. Age of Magic stuff. Yeah, love it.
That's a
very
cool
colorful.
Looks good. And the last one we have for at this time, the day before, we have Robin.
Oh,
104277
Yes.
with Warlord and his Priestess, the Oracle of Delphi.
That I love the Priestess. Well, it's such a great vignette, the two of them together.
So I think he said, and I recognize it from War Gods of Olympus because I do have some War Gods models.
Okay.
So definitely the Olympus stuff. You know, there's some really cool characters in there. I mean, they're big, they're chunky. So if you're using Victrix plastic, you know, see how, you know, her size compared to his. You know, it's a little odd, but you know, who cares? But yeah, he looks good. I like her as well.
Yep.
That's a cool idea. Yeah.
Love it.
If I can zoom in here. Yeah, nice and close. Proper use of fire.
Yep.
Brighter. Well, now I can't remember. I think it is because it's darker at the edges, and it doesn't look as good as doing it darker at the bottom and higher at the edges because that's normally how you paint everything. But fire is the opposite, and so it doesn't look as good. But if you do it the other way, which looks better, then somebody always said, well, you know, fire actually is the hotter part, yeah. Both brighter, so the edges should be the darker, yeah.
Here, let me get my paintbrush and fix it right here in real time.
But
that's good. I like this.
Good work. So yeah, I didn't add it up, but I think that's probably, I think the most we've had before was 13 entries. I feel like we've probably done at least 13, and there's definitely people have been pinging me. There's going to be more on the way. So unfortunately, we won't be able to consider those for our favorite, but we talked beforehand. Monty, do you want to reveal?
This is hard. It's hard every time we do this. Seriously, and you know, and I appreciate like that we can kind of pair up on this because I am more of a, you know, what do you like? I can point out some things, but some of the stuff is just like some effects I'm not sure how people are getting them. But having you know, gone round the horn here, I really do like having painted this kind of figure before. I adore the Avar Warlord.
Yeah, so JP, Herkus Monty, he is our winner this time. He is our favorite model. So a couple things distinguished this one for me. Well, I should say there was two close running. Obviously, Martin's was good.
Yep. Yes.
But he just had a single guy. It kind of looked like an easy paint. You know, I'm suspicious that it may just be a Dungeons and Dragons figure that he's shoehorning into the competition. He's won a couple already, so I'll bust his chops a little bit. So JP painted the horse. You know, people from the prior competitions know that's worth a lot of points in our book. The other one that was a contender for me was the Oswald of Northumbria.
Yes.
So I liked, it was 3 models. He put in the effort. I liked the banner, and I liked how the banner colors were really cohesive with the colors on the models. And if he had done, some more highlights, it's to a tabletop standard. So if you put a little more elbow grease, some dry brushing on the hair, maybe a couple more highlights, that probably would have been the winner for me. But as is, JP edged him out. So JP will be the first winner of the SAGA THORSDAY winners mug. Now I'm still working with someone to make this happen, so it's definitely happening, but I don't have it as of yet. So hopefully sometime in February I can get the batch of them and then get it mailed out to I guess this is I believe the Netherlands. Is where he's hanging out nowadays. So hopefully the pint can make the trip. I'll wrap it as good as I can, bud. But if not, you just have to melt it down and make an ashtray or something. I don't know. So, all right. Well, that was it for the painting contest. Thanks everybody for participating. It was really fun looking at all the entries and everything, and it was pretty inspiring. I am looking to get back to some Saga painting, so people following my social medias will see a big Infinity commission that I finally finished and posted, and thanks to the SAGA THORSDAY Patreon, I don't have to take any more Infinity model commissions. Woohoo! Yeah.
Nice.
So you can look forward to more model. Now I might paint some Infinity for personal use, but no more commissions. So I'm kind of off the commission train, but I will be painting up something here shortly, because at the end of February, or end of March, I don't know, we're almost up to 3 months here. January, February, March, those are the months. So end of March, we'll do our drawing for the first SAGA THORSDAY Patreon random painted figure, and also the a Gripping Beast plastic set. So if you're interested in that, the easiest way to get in on it is join the Patreon. You don't have to paint anything to get that box set. You can do it by snail mail too. I'll have some details below, but it's mainly for the Patreon folks. And we're really close. We almost have a full 6-point army here, Monty, and the Heathen army.
Yes.
It's really damn close. And, at this point, if it stays here, that's fine. Otherwise I have to paint. It goes from me painting a single model to a whole unit. So it's a difference of like $4. So it's close. Okay, maybe not. But if we do get that, Monty's going to be doing an army. So if we just get a few more Patreon folks, a couple every month, we'll get a nice army out there to somebody at the end of the year. So we can make it happen. If we hit it by February and March, then in March we'll get a unit of Shield Maidens painted up. By we, I mean me, and sent out to folks. So let's make it happen. Big thank you to the existing Patreons, supporters, specifically Patrick, Terry, and Mitch, who are contributing at the higher levels when they don't really need to, but they are for some reason. So thank you, guys.
Awesome.
And I'm going to see Terry at FIMBULWINTER here shortly, so that'll be really cool. If you want to find out about that, I'll have links to everything below. Hopefully the beginning part was useful to the Saga beginners. Hopefully the scenario was interesting to the Saga veterans, and this last part was interesting to the Saga painters out there. But I think that's going to be it for this episode. Monty, what do you say?
I think that's it.
Okay. Sounds good. We will catch you on the next one. I will say the next video will be coming out in 2 weeks. It will be a not live, but a video battle report. So I have not done a video battle report on the channel as of yet. They've all been either pictures that I've talked about after the battle, or the tabletop simulator live, just raw feed, or there's been a couple I've just talked about videos after the fact of tabletop simulators. So this is a video that I took during the match. So you're going to catch every roll of the dice and cry of victory or shame. It's my last Romans versus the Mutatawiya. So Monty, you might be interested in this one.
Yes,
and
very.
It went really, really well. I did some prep work and almost everything worked out according to plan. So there's just a few tweaks, but I will definitely be doing them in the future. And I would probably the next one after that, whenever that is, will probably be a introduction to Saga battle report. So Vikings versus Anglo-Danes, and then just a lot of elaboration about the different steps. So hopefully the community can find that useful. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So come back in 2 weeks, check it out. Let me know what you think if you want to see more of it. And if we get some more patrons on board, it's possible we could be doing a faction review and a video battle report every month. Like, it could happen. It doesn't. If we could get 5 or 10 more folks signed up, depending on the levels, that we could get there. So that could be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But otherwise, that's it for this one. Thanks again, Monty. I appreciate your help as always. And,
always a good time, Rodge.
We'll catch you on the next one. All right.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Saga! If you'd like to see more Saga content, consider joining the Heathen Army over on Patreon or popping on down to the Saga Thursday Discord server. Links below. Thanks, guys.